Within the auction house lies billions of coins waiting to be claimed by you. This video will give you everything that you need to learn how to flip. Whether you're brand new to auction house flipping or a veteran, this video will help you to make progress to the next level. My goal is to make the only flipping guide you need. In this video, you will learn what you need before buying a single item, what to look for in a good item, and how to list an item to give it the greatest chance of success. This video will be in 2 parts. The next part will be an over-explained flipping session. More on that later. NEU or Not Enough Updates is one of the most comprehensive mods available for this game. We are just going to focus on the tools that it has available for flipping. I am not even going to scratch the surface of what NEU is capable of doing, but I'm just going to really quickly go over the way that I use it for flipping. So first of all, if I just hover over any item, let's just right click on this dude right here. He's wearing a bunch of Sorrow armor. If I just hover over any of these pieces, down the bottom, it's going to show us a few things, okay? The first is the raw craft cost. That's really helpful in the sense that if you see that there is a difference between the raw craft cost and the lowest buy it now, that's just a straight up flip. You could craft that for money and then sell it. Worth noting, but I don't make money that way typically, but that's fine. The next and most important thing, the thing that I look at the most, is the AH sales per day. Now that is not 100% accurate, but it does give you an indication of how frequently an item is bought and sold. I'm going to go into more detail about why that's important later on, but that's what we're going to be looking at today. Check the video in the description for all of my mods with a tutorial on how to download them. Let's now look at how an item's history can help or hinder your flipping. Although I personally never do this because I am lazy and I don't really care if I lose money on flip, it may be helpful to look at the historic price of an item before buying something. The reason for this is simple. If an item has recently dropped or risen in price, it is more than likely going to return back to its original price. So if you buy an item that has dipped, it could rise, making you money. Or if you buy an item that has recently risen, it could fall back, losing you money. I'll leave a link to a helpful website that shows the price of an item over time in the description. Before we get into what you should buy, I have some amazing news. I have started a Discord server where we can come together, share our flips, and just hang out. The link is in the description. My goal for this section is that you can take one look at an item and be able to determine if it's a flip or if it's not worth buying. But before we get into that, I just want to share this extremely important point. The more people that undercut an item, the lower the value of that item becomes. Keep that in the back of your mind while we go over volume, the sales of an item per day. I'm going to explain the 2 extremes of flippable items. If there are 1 to 5 sales per day, this is an extremely low activity item. This does not mean you can't buy and sell this item. It just means there are some things to keep in mind before you do. Here are the pros and cons of low volume items. The pros. First of all, hardly anyone undercuts you, which means that the price stays the same. So if you find a 1 million coin flip, the likelihood of that flip staying at 1 million coins is extremely high. Also, these items typically have a much larger margin because, if you remember, the more times an item is undercut, the lower the price of that item is. Cons. If someone undercuts the flip, it's basically dead. Because if there's only 1 sale a day, as an example, buyers will have to go through 2 people to get to yours, which is unlikely because there's not that many buyers for this item. Another con is obviously the sales are extremely slow. On the exact opposite end of the spectrum, if there's an item with 50 sales per day, that is extremely high activity. The exact opposite issues present themselves. The cons, everyone undercuts you and the price drops like crazy, and because of this, the margins are also very small. However, the pros is that if anybody undercuts the flip, every day 50 people will buy those items, so if you just wait, eventually yours will be sold. Finally, the sales are extremely fast. Those 2 extremes, a scale between 0 and 50 sales per day, and you will understand that whatever item you choose, depending on the number of sales, will tell you how long it's going to take to sell, what's likely to happen if you get undercut, and how likely it is that you are going to be undercut. It means you should be able to look at an item and understand the pros and cons of buying and selling that particular item. If this is still not exactly clear, do not worry, because in the demonstration video where I over explain every flip that I do, it should all become very clear in that. Pro tip, if you're struggling to find an item to flip, just start right-clicking some people in the lobby and look at their armor for inspiration. Now we go on to my favorite thing when it comes to flipping, which is categories. This is a little bit of a difficult concept to understand, but as soon as you get your head around this and the previous thing, you are set. You literally don't need any more information after that. You found an item that you want to flip, and you know exactly what to expect when you list it in terms of how long it's going to take to sell. What you're doing when you are flipping is you are looking for items that are not in the correct category and recategorizing them. Let me cut to a live clip of me explaining this. Alright, categories. Let's just get straight into it here. Basically, when I say categories, I mean what an item has and what it has on it, basically. So if an item has additional enchantments or things like that, that puts it in a category on its own. I'm going to explain that right now with the aspect of the dragons. I'm not sure why I do aspect of the dragons, but I do, so let's get into it. So if I hover over aspect of the dragons, we're going to have a look at the price here. It's 700,000 coins for the cheapest aspect of the dragons. So that means if I were to go and kill the dragon and get one of these drops and then just list it up, I'm going to list it for 699,000 coins, and that's what the price is going to sell for. It's not going to sell for 800k because it literally cannot. So the first category, the category of clean, is dictated by this item right here at 700k. So if we continue on, first of all, that's 800k, and I'm going to buy it, but I'll get back to that in a little bit. So 700k. Next, we are going to look for the first item, other than this one, that shouldn't have been there, that is fully enchanted. Not a couple of enchantments like this, but is ready to go. You could pick it up and just start killing some ender dragons. So the first one is 1.25 million coins. Now, the reason why I just bought this sword is because it was in the wrong category. So it was here chilling with all of the unenchanted swords, and it was 800,000 coins, where it actually belongs in this category over here. Let's see, where is it? With all of its enchanted buddies here. So this is the fully enchanted category. We're going to keep going along here. We're going to have a look for some other categories. First of all is potato books. Potato books adds quite a lot of value, and you'll see now there's a bunch of potato book swords here. This sword will never sell. This sword right here will never sell because these swords have got all of the potato books. So that is in the wrong category as well, but it's in the wrong side. It needs to be, that actually needs to be cheaper by about 400k. Let's just say, for instance, that this sword, although it doesn't, it had combo 5 on it, just as an example. I'm going to go into the auction house and I'm going to look for the first sword that actually has combo 5 on it. Let's see. Here we go, combo 5. And we have found the combo 5 category. So combo 5 aspect of the dragons is 2.3 mil. Now, what we're looking for is people that are too lazy to wait for that item to sell, and that they're going to list it in the exact wrong category. So, for instance, if we went over to the fully enchanted category here at 1.3 mil, and we saw one with combo 5, we know that we could list it for 2.3 mil, and we would make 1 million coins profit. Now, I bought this one for 800k. Let's complete this flip really quickly. I'm going to put it up for 1.25, which is exactly what we saw it listed for. I'm just going to collect all of this just for your satisfaction. Delicious. If you copy everything I said, you should be able to find and list flips easily. If you're still struggling, however, I have started a Patreon, and currently Tier 3 comes with a 2-hour coaching session each month. But be fast because there are only 6 spots available. If you miss out on that, do not worry because there are other tiers available that will have a lot of helpful tools as well. Link in the description. Stay tuned for the next video where I will do a short over-explained flipping session. I'm going to explain every part of my decision making and thought process for every flip that I do so that you can replicate it for yourself.